Another example is along the same lines of, you may have seen performers that will, maybe at the beginning of their show, borrow the ring, make it disappear, and say, well, that's it, see you later. And it's kind of a fun little joke, as if you're going to leave the table, which usually gets a laugh. Where you can immediately follow up and say, no, 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 I'll give you a chance to win your ring back, right? Which again is something really funny, but it allows you to transition to another trick, right? Meanwhile, you've already borrowed the ring and loaded it in the bell, right? So that when you bring this out with the ring on the bell, this can be used throughout whatever routines you're doing off the table or, you know, wherever, where the spectator is actively ringing the bell with their ring inside it as you do other magic, and then come back to this at the very, very end, right? So I just want you to get the idea of like possibly creating a thread with the bell throughout your performance. I think particularly table side, it's a really interesting prop to have kicking around. There's a lot of fun things you can do with it. Like I said, again, you could even load, you know, a playing card or something underneath the bell while the spectator's ring's even in it, and they wouldn't even know, which is crazy. So that's what I wanted to get at here, was just put it in your set and play around with it. Now, there's one more thing to talk about here, and that is creating a bit of time distance. You'll notice everything I just talked about there has distance between the ring vanishing and revealing it in the bell, right? That's an important piece when it comes to this style of magic, right? And you can change the distance between something vanishing and reappearing by the style of vanish that you use. So let's talk about a few different ways to make the ring disappear. Well, you've made it this far, so let's just break down a variety of vanishes that you might consider using for ring in the bell. With these types of routines where something disappears and reappears somewhere else that's impossible, the vanish that you choose to use is really important. You can use a simple false transfer. You can. You just have to do it in a way that the audience believes that the ring is in play the entire time, and they believe that it is in your hand. There's some devices that we can use here, though, to help extend the length of this. The longer you leave a ring in your hand, the less likely your audience is going to believe that the ring is still in your hand, right? So there's some other things that you can do that might increase that length of time of believability. So let's break down just a few that I've thrown together here, and we'll also talk about the retention and vanish. Let's just talk about the false transfer, aka this retention vanish that we're going to be using. I burned through it briefly in the original explanation, but we're going to be coming from a point where you're holding the ring and hiding the clasp, right? So unlike other false transfers that you might do, you can't display the ring in your hand cleanly like this, because you'll be showing the audience the clasp, right? So you're going to be coming from a position of hiding the ring in your hand to here, okay? So just keep that in mind at first, that you're not going to be able to probably clip the ring in a finger palm or something like that if you're familiar with this style thing. So what you want to do is you're just going to allow the ring to fall into your hand. All right, now I'm exposing it here so you guys can see it, but I would have it up here. And I like to use my thumb, all right, where I just bury my thumb in the center of the ring if I can. It seems like a great spot to be able to hold on to the ring. It might take a little bit of practice to get it there, but we're talking about the fine points of this false transfer, okay? I just use my thumb to hold it. You're not going to want to rely on your fingers. You're going to want to rely on your thumb, most likely. So you're here, and then you're just going to turn this hand over as this turns up, okay? So it's here. And then you're going to close this hand around your fingers as you pull that ring out. And again, I'm using my thumb to hold on to it. You should be able to see it there. So in slow motion, looks like that, all right? And that's the basic false transfer, okay? And again, you would immediately go to the bell, or I'll show you something else that you could do here you might want to think about doing. So here's a great thing that if it's within your skill set, you could sleeve this ring, all right? Now I brought my jacket with me so I can demonstrate what sleeving looks like. I am by no means the person that you'd want to learn sleeving from. I do some active sleeving in some of my work, but there's some great resources on this that is out there, and really you can't go any further than Rocco. He's got his Penguin Live lecture. He talks all about sleeving and how to do it properly. Also, Johann Stahl has got a great DVD called Sleeveless Sleeving that I recommend as well. But sleeving would allow you to pretend to put this ring in your hand and then show this hand empty before you go get the bell, right? And that sequence would look something like this. Again, you're going to do that false transfer. You have the ring, you pretend to put it here, and then you're going to say to your audience, I have one more thing to show you. And during that one more thing is when we're going to sleeve the ring, which would look something like that. Okay, one more thing. I have the wrong jacket on. My sleeves are a little short on this one, but like I mentioned, I just want to show you what a sleeving mechanic would look like, right? So when you're going to sleeve something like this, you're just going to, you're going to pretend to put it here, and then I'm going to leave it as close to my fingertips as I can and close my hand in a very deep fist, right? The idea is I want to get these fingertips as close to this lip of my sleeve as possible. Now the momentum of bringing this hand up, you're going to let that ring fall into your sleeve. This is an advanced move for sure, but man, something worth practicing because sleeving, super powerful, right? So pretend to put it here, and then on the way up, you just let that fall, and then immediately say, there's one more thing I wanted to show you, and show the empty palm. Super strong. Now you can go back and grab the bell out of your pocket, which I don't have in my pocket. Whoop, let me get that out of there. So you pretend to put this here, you sleeve the ring, you say there's one more thing I wanted to show you, and that is the magic bell. Now when you go back to get the bell, if you're familiar with sleeving, all I have to do is drop my arm, and that ring is going to fall into my hand. So it's all in the same action of going back, just drop the ring and the bell, give it the test ring, right? And now you're set up for a beautiful vanish from the hand, okay? So if you sleeve, this is a great place to practice your sleeving. It's a little bit of a strange thing to sleeve because it's got that little extra piece hanging there, but even with these short sleeves, you should be able to get that done. But Rocco, his Penguin Live lecture, whew, so good on sleeving. The other one that a lot of people are fond of is with a string. Now, in a lot of ways, ringing the bell has, I would say there's a good chance that there's a strong ring in the string routine out there with the ring in the bell as the kicker ending. I haven't done it. I've been talking to some friends about it, but I think that's a natural routine that would fit ring in the bell really well, to be able to do ring on string and then finish with the ring ending up in the bell that's been used throughout the routine, right?